Hey everyone, and welcome to the last Infinite Respawn podcast of the year. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
Griff.
Bucket.
And Baby Cthulhu.
I thought you all were giving me an announcement. I didn't know, man.
Change
You're
it just a little bit.
Infinite Respawn podcast. I was like, what's happening right now?
Watch everybody panic.
I was like, please finish what you're gonna say right there, sir.
No. We gotta leave it up in the air. Make
that
everybody gotta get that panic face.
Me too. He started it, and I was like, "What the fuck is he saying?"
See, this is how strict they are behind the scenes, man. It is bad here. Someone help.
It is bad.
Send help.
I thought you were announcing the end of our podcast without discussing it with us. All right, well, I'm done
Might be
here.
your last one,
surprise.
buddy.
Oh.
Damn it, Chicken.
Oh. Got him good. That's what we call that.
That's starting out. That's a strong right out of the gate show right here. It's gonna be a long one, everybody. Get comfortable. Get your favorite beverage, maybe some snacks, because we got the Game Awards to talk about. Amongst other things. So I imagine we've got some feels on some of the things and stuff.
I didn't watch it at all, unfortunately.
It was.
Did you not?
Well, it was on during raid night, and it was not just raid night farm content for a while stuff. It was this is our first attempt at Lich King.
Which is the last boss, by the way.
Yeah, the final
when he
boss
goes down, we win. Like I can start looking for retirement homes. I'm done.
Yeah. So
I don't know if any of you have ever retired from a game for playing 4.5 years every week. But let me tell you, it's consistently. I think I have missed.
We didn't even miss the raid week where our child was born because he was born on a Monday and we were back for a raid that later that week on like Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, I don't think I've missed.
Which is, to be fair, is more impressive on your part than it is anybody else in that conversation.
Oh yeah. So. It's 100% impressive on her side.
It's also impressive that we had a child that would actually like sleep through 3-hour chunks of raid, so that we could actually do that. So
he was a generous god when he was little.
Yes. Now that he's bigger, we've got a 3-nager now. So.
Yep.
Yeah, he's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in games.
13 years old.
Yeah, he is 13 years old. Yeah.
13 years old.
He doesn't have the biggest vocabulary to talk back to you, but he has enough words that you're like, wow, calm down there, buddy. Jeez.
He's learning. Yeah, he's getting better and better every day.
In game stuff, I'm just gonna let everybody know that we learned a thing last night. One, probably playing Age of Conan whilst your server is laggy is not a great idea.
That's fair.
Doing a little, trying to go into a dungeon, also not a great idea when your server's laggy. I died to a skeleton that I didn't know was there because since I was lagging, I didn't see him until he was killing me. After that, I was like, okay, well, I'll just run back and get my body and maybe we can salvage this a little bit. They killed the snake that they were trying to kill that was apparently close to my body, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't there because I was dead.
On my screen, it was not anywhere near your body.
Well, Kat was should I...
The snake was, on the other side of the wall for me.
She was like, should I go ahead and carve it? Because, you carve it up and get the resources and whatnot. And they're like, yeah, that wasn't the snake she was carving. That was my body. And it turns out that if you do that, the person's inventory, since they have not come back to get it and nobody else can loot it, just pops into a little bag that lasts for 2 minutes. Then it's gone.
She lost all of her stuff.
So I was trying to run back, butt naked, to get there whilst I'm hearing this happen.
Full nudity in these servers too.
And I jumped off of a ledge. And I was like, I'm going to land on that rock below and there's a spider chasing me. No big deal. It'll probably put me at half health, but I'll be fine. I hit the rock and fell into the rock. So I'm standing naked in a rock listening to them discuss the fact that my stuff is no longer there.
I didn't say shit.
Do anything. Yeah, I was like, is my stuff gone? And there was silence and I was like, The quiet is telling me what I need to know.
It was gone.
And then there was just a spider that was upset with me sitting on top of the rock that I was stuck in, so I was just staring at it while it was trying to like run around and figure out how to get in. And I'm like, well, sorry, buddy, I can't get out either. So I'm here. Chicken had to like run out and mine me out of the rock so that I could walk back to base and start remaking everything I own because it's gone now. So that's what I learned yesterday, or what we.
The good thing that most of us overmine what we need anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had enough materials to remake everything. It was just one of those things where it's like, nothing about last night went as it was supposed to. Like, Chicken and Baka were going to do a quick, this is basically the Rick and Morty, hey, Morty, you want to go on an adventure? Quick 20-minute adventure in and out. They were going to go on a quick dungeon run in Season of Discovery and then come and join us. That was at 7 o'clock. They jumped in at 9 o'clock. So at 9:30 is when we're trying to...
Most of that was because I had to run through the dungeon.
Well, that and the priest had to run to the dungeon too. Yeah. But then we had to find, like, after you two got there, we had the tank decided to leave, and then we had to find somebody else. And that's when I just said, I'll tank it. Just pick up a random DPS, and luckily the DPS was right next door. So I played Season of Discovery to not tank. I have tanked for 4.5 years. I'm not doing it anymore. I mean, I am like probably the pinnacle of off tank at this point because I have so much experience. Like, if things go foobar, you don't want anybody else but me to be the one to help pick it up. So
after we're done here, we can go test out my mage healing abilities.
I'm not tanking. You go find somebody else.
I didn't say you were tanking.
I mean, I will be taking, just so you know. Nobody can hold the aggro against me.
Yes. 3 out of the 4 of us are playing World of Warcraft Season of Discovery. And that's been a thing. You know what? I haven't gotten anything really, really fancy on the Hunter yet. And I'm like 13.
Have you been looking for stuff?
I don't really know where to look. I do know I missed something and realized it after the fact because there was the birds in the Dolinar area that were dropping this thing that only I could pick up, and you're supposed to take it and put it in a bear cave somewhere, and then you get Rune of Flanking if you killed the bear, and then you could summon it again and like tame the bear if you wanted to. And
you can also probably look up where to get some of the runes, but
I will. Like, right now, I'm just kind of leveling.
From now, I'll tell you, like, you probably won't get until like 20 or 25. Like,
yeah.
One of the ones I need for the healing, apparently, like, to get all that shit for it, I'm probably not going to get it until 25.
Some of them, there are 3 that are locked behind pretty big chain things. One is the reputation grind, one is the huge quest chain in Booty Bay, and the other one is those salvage scrapper things from Stone Talon, I think it is.
Isn't Booty Bay like the 30s?
There's a quest in Booty Bay that takes you to other places that's pretty difficult that you'll need help to do.
Okay, because I was like, wow, how the fuck are people doing that one?
Because there's a vendor there. There's a new vendor there that asks you for 3 sets of different items, and you have to bring those items to him, and then he will unlock his inventory, which you can buy a rune from.
But Booty Bay or Ratchet?
Booty Bay.
Really?
They you don't quest in Stranglethorn. It takes you all over.
Yeah, but what I read, at least for mine, the NPC is in Ratchet.
You're probably thinking of a different one.
Chicken's convinced. You'll have to Google it later and show him the proof. Or
I will show him. I will show him.
Or he'll show you, and then he's right. And
hey, if he's right, cool.
Well, I mean, Mage's runes could be different. So, like, mine could be in Ratchet, and his could be in Booty Bay. Mine, the one I have where you have to go all over is it says it starts with Ratchet, and Ratchet. I have to go to Stone Talon with things only engineers can make, and they're one-time use. I've got to collect 16 of them. They're not always a guaranteed drop.
Yeah, that's everybody. That's an everybody thing.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds unfun. I don't like that.
Yeah,
but I need that rune.
Yeah,
it's the healing one, so or one of them.
Well, I assume you guys were having fun doing that. I'm
yeah, I mean, I
I
just hit 25, so
it's interesting to see the stuff that's changed, and I'm excited to see them do the things later of like the dungeons they never added in and things like that.
That's gonna be a while though, because that'll be level 60 stuff.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily, I guess. But if they do Upside Down Kara, that's probably 60.
the crypts.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just interested to see what they're going to do with the raids. Are they going to
I
keep them
hope
40, or are they going to drop them down to like 10?
Or 20.
They're going to make it more casual, like 10, 20, something easy.
Please don't make us have 40 people again. I'm definitely not doing that. I'm not interested in trying to get 40 people together to do a thing again. That was enough for Classic. I checked that off the list. I'm good. I don't need that many people hanging out with me at one time. Thanks.
I appreciate the experience, but I am done now.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing WoW, but I'm here in my retirement home to play bingo with a small group of friends.
Yes, please. Outside of Season Discovery, we did make it to Lich King in Classic. We haven't downed him yet, though, so, that's where we're at for that. As far as other stuff, I've still been playing Baldur's Gate 3, Dark Urge. There was an area that I had to, I am uncomfortable with the narrator right now. I have to leave. And that's got to say something for the narrative of it all, where it's like, wow, games really make you feel something. And it's like, yeah, they do, and it's incredibly uncomfortable right now. I'll see you later.
Hey, they said they made you feel something. They didn't say that they made you feel something good.
I mean, that's the key, right? Like, it makes you feel a whole, smorgasbord of different things.
You don't like going to bed and then waking up murdering people?
Well, that's...
She's well past that part.
I'm in Act 2. So...
I need to finish my game.
I would love to finish my game.
Oh, you've been too busy.
Can you still not with all the patching that's happened?
I tried it again a few weeks ago, and it started doing fine, but it started doing some crazy combat bug thing where it would lag horribly. Like I would do I'd do my move, and then I would go to swing.
They've put 2 hotfixes out since then, by the way.
Yeah, so hopefully it's worked.
One of those hotfixes dropped during the Game Awards, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, we're out there winning awards, but we're still working for you. Here's a hotfix. So, I thought that was funny. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before we start talking about the awards? Or, well, I guess we could talk about the thing that happened before the awards, because that's the natural order of things, right? Because there's the GTA 6 trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
That a lot of people have feels on, I guess.
I
don't know why anybody... So, the trailer dropped, and then they ended up putting it out earlier than they had anticipated because it got leaked on Twitter/X. But a lot of people are upset because, oh my god, the main character's a woman? Okay, y'all, we've known that for 2 years now. I think it was 2 years ago when that got announced to us.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where people couldn't believe it then. They were like, there's no way.
Rockstar's messing with us. They won't put a girl in our game.
Yeah.
You sad
why
people.
not?
Yeah, first of all, why not? Secondly, how sad is it that your masculinity is that questioned and fragile that you can't handle playing as a female character?
I mean, plus the fact that it's probably going to be like 5 was, and you're going to be able to switch between her and probably the other guy.
Yeah, the other dude in the trailer.
Yeah, and because to me, I got a very Bonnie and Clyde feeling.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I said when they started driving in the car. I was like, oh man, I think this is good, Bonnie and Clyde style.
And I saw another trailer beforehand. I don't know if this was like an actual another one, but it had Michael and Trevor voice actors talking in it at one point. So I don't know if that means they're popping in as like, oh hey
Side
surprise,
characters.
you remember us, or if they're going to be playable, or because if Trevor's playable again, I'm gonna run around and cause mayhem.
I don't think they'll make Trevor playable again. I also think that would be very difficult because then they would be picking a canon option when you had a choice in GTA 5 of, this or this ending wise.
I mean, yeah, but that's not that unusual for video games to go, yeah, you had multiple options for an ending, but this is the canon ending.
Yeah, here's your canon.
I guess that's true. I don't like it when games do that, when they're like, here's your illusion of choice. It is not really a choice because this is the canon.
It's fine to me if it's your canon, and the fact that you go, okay, here's 3 endings. I've finished this way. This save game is now read by the next game. Similar to what
Mass
they did
Effect or Dragon Age. Yeah.
Right?
Maybe they picked by who whatever had the most popular ending or whatever.
See, this is why I think with these kind of games, you like as the writers, you have to generate at least some form of canon for your side. I know people might not like Griff might not necessarily like that, but if you want to create a more structured sequel style, you got to at least do that, or you're gonna fuck it up.
Give us a choice.
Or you're going to fuck it up like Dragon Age, where they give you so many damn options. Instead of it becoming a nice little weave of choices, it becomes this giant fucked up web of unbelievable things to where it's like, okay, there's too many choices and too many options. We just have to throw this all to the wayside and go somewhere to the other side of the world where your choices barely mattered.
Well, I mean, you could
keep it straight.
Same company really did well with Mass Effect, the original trilogy. It gave you, it knew it was going to be multiple games. It gave you choices that carried over game to game, and then gave you an ending that they don't have to be like, well, after this, we're going to figure out which one's the canon ending. Although now that's in question because there is going to be another one, so...
Exactly,
are you
my
about to force
point.
a canon ending on us? Because that's... Games that give you choices should actually give you choices, not the illusion of a choice when they already have the next story beat decided.
We have the same discussion with Baldur's Gate 3. There is a canon story, and there's a canon ending.
Yeah, I mean, again,
the game was written around the Dark Urge. The game.
The trailer I watched could have been something that someone faked, because it was around the same time as the GTA 6 trailers when I saw it, so...
6 is also going back to Vice City, so it's pretty far away.
Yeah, that's GTA. Yeah, GTA Vice City.
I would not be entirely surprised to have GTA 6 Online have cameos from previous characters, though. Like, regardless of canon, because I think GTA Online doesn't care. Like, they're like, whatever, it's gonna sell us the most.
Well, for the Halloween event for GTA 5, the biker dude that you kill in 5, like his ghost makes an appearance during the Halloween event.
Yeah, but there wasn't a choice in that. That was part of the written. It wasn't do you want to kill him? It is that guy's going to die. So the only way that you would be surprised by seeing his ghost is if you had not actually played the campaign.
I mean, like looking up the Mass Effect thing, it looks like the general, because there's a lot of theory crafting and whatnot around the Mass Effect.
A lot.
But it looks like a general consensus is that the Destroy ending is the canon, because that'll be the easiest one to transition into Mass Effect 4 if you go like, and that's the thing is like all your choices before that ending don't matter to the ending.
No, I mean your ending can come out the same regardless of how many of your squad mates have survived and things like that.
But that's the point, is I think they did that right, is like all of your choices up to the ending, and then you pick your ending. Like all of this stuff is like, yeah, fun, but then you leave all of those choices back behind it, and then it's your ending. Then you choose how this trilogy ends. I agree.
I guess I don't disagree with that, but I look at it too, like I like the cool thing that they did, even though they handled it wrong when they created Andromeda, is they put it far away from.
Yeah, it disconnected it from.
Like what they're doing with Dragon Age.
BioShock did the same thing. BioShock had you have 2 different endings that you have in the first game. You were still set up in the second area, but you have at least that way you're separated. With Baldur's Gate, when you go 1 and 2, now you have 200 years between the second game and the third game. A span of time, so like there's a way to make it work. Like even with 4, they could theoretically say this is 50 years later or 100 years later or whatever they wanted to do with it, to where even it's far enough removed that whatever decisions you made isn't going to matter.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They did. I guess they had to, because I know Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 now have canon styles because the effects of those games affected this one. There were characters from this one that were alive during those ones, and the choices that they made are canonized in this game from them. So
I think the difference is,
to be fair, some of the choices are some of the canon choices and stuff, at least from what I've played with Baldur's Gate 3, kind of make it a bit vague,
which is intentional, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So it's like, so some of it may have been like, that's the canon ending, and then other things are going to be like, it could have gone either way.
But I think that you can get away with going, it's time jumps and we can get vague about things and stuff like that. But this is GTA, and you're like, it's set in a real timeline, parallel to our current timeline. So it's one of those things where it's like, you can't be like, this game is 50 years later, so everybody that was in 2 and 3 are arguably dead, and the people that are in 4 and 5 are like ancient old dinosaurs in a retirement home somewhere.
No, I mean, I think you'll have
like years later.
I think you'll have cameos from some people that are from the Vice City era.
Yeah.
But
they're
going to
back
be
to there.
In Vice City.
If they're not old, I riot.
I mean, unless they're making, no, because I don't think they're making the new one. Like
it's not in the 80s.
The 80s or
yeah, it's not in the 80s.
No. Based on what was in the
City?
trailer with, the cars, and I think there's even like, streaming cell phone stuff and everything. So no, it's not the 80s. It's definitely.
Oh yeah, they got like a TikTok. That's modern day right there.
Parallel.
That's like 2023, 2024.
Do a throwback.
No, it is 100%.
I just want to know how much of a character the alligator is going to be, and if it is the same alligator, or you just get a side mission to go catch alligators, as like one of your side things that you can do around town. Because Florida, right?
I'm never completing that quest. I'm just gonna run around with an alligator.
Right? You just never turn it in, and forever this is your friend.
Go and steal a cop car, throw him in the back seat.
I also think it's weird. Y'all saw on Twitter that Elon Musk was all like, I never played GTA 5 because I don't want to kill cops. Do you know what game this is?
Yeah, no, right.
Well, that's the problem, though, is the fact that you have a lot of people that if you showed them the footage of actual GTA and showed them the plot line and everything else, because of the way the media has spinned the game over the years that it's existed, that's what the first thing everybody's going to think of is the killing the cops and the prostitutes. It's the two things they think about. They don't think about there's actual footage, there's actual gameplay.
You do like you can be one of those people that farms up their notoriety or stars or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called in GTA. It's notoriety and Saints Row.
Levels or whatever.
Your wanted level and things like that, so that you can just murder everybody that comes at you, but you also understand that it's a video game, and that's that's kind of what these playgrounds are for sometimes. Not that people do that shit in real life, weirdo media folk.
So I didn't realize what the time span that GTA Vice City took place in. It was released in 2002, but it took place in 86.
Right.
Yeah,
so
it's essentially Scarface.
This new one takes place
Scarface.
If the new one takes place in 2026, that's 40 years down the line, which means Tommy Vercetti would be in his 60s or whatnot, being the kingpin of Vice City, and supposedly there's supposed to be a kid from a previous character. So one of these two main characters could be his kid running Vice City.
Could be her.
It could be her. Like she could be
hilarious.
He fits the right timeline.
A legitimate kid or something.
Possible.
Like if they were the real kid, I would assume that he would try to do everything to keep them out of jail.
Yeah, I would assume so, and it definitely could be because they left it completely open-ended. Apparently, like none of the games and nothing else ever, short of one of his associates getting out of rehab and trying to talk to him again. That like nothing ever happens with his character again. So they could easily pick him back up and set him because we're coming back to Vice City.
Yeah.
It's 40 years later. I mean, and with what you did in Vice City, you could have easily set the grounds for him to be the big dog. Yeah, like his dynasty of Miami City, of Vice City. So we could be seeing him again. It'll bolster up sales of Vice City again because people
or maybe his grandson is the Florida man dude with all the tattoos and shit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Florida man.
Maybe. I mean, that's kind of cool. I'm interested to see where they go. It's going to be years before we see it again.
Yeah, there's no release date or anything yet. Right now it's confirmed for PlayStation and Xbox, but no word on a PC.
PC probably won't be until like a year or two.
Yeah,
after
that is the popular way to do it. Is put it on consoles and give it a year, and then bring it to PC.
I'm guessing 2028 for PC. Yeah, I know, 5 years from now, but it is what it is. Probably 2025, 2026 for actual release. And then, because they're going to milk GTA 5 for as long as possible.
Well, I mean, once this comes out, they'll basically do what a lot of other games have done, which is, okay, well, servers are going to go down for this. You'll have to migrate to the new one.
Which is important to make sure that this game is highly stable, very polished, and ready for action. Take your time,
even
get it right.
GTA 5, they didn't do the multiplayer right away.
No, it wasn't.
They waited on it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, they bought 5M.
Mm-hmm. The mod thing, right? That's the... Yeah. Okay, just making sure I was on the same page.
So that means that they're probably going to be definitely holding off on the PC version, so that they don't have people instantly trying to mod the game for like the role play stuff and everything.
Well, if they bought that, they may actually monetize that as its own version of the online.
I mean, that's a possibility as well.
Because they love monetizing.
So, but we'll have to see how all that works with the new one.
Yep. Whenever it does come out, which I'm sure we'll probably see it again in the summer. We'll probably get another trailer teaser thing and then like a release date over the summer, I imagine.
If Rockstar does this right, because right now one of the biggest games of this decade of 2021 to 2030 is going to be Baldur's Gate 3. If GTA 6 comes out at like perfect scale, good, clean, like just what we expect from a GTA game, then they will take it. So we will see. We will see.
I was trying to see if they had an amount of how much they paid for 5M. Imagine being those guys.
All right. Well, imagine being those guys, or they leveraged it so they had to sell it, or else they'd like ruin their lives. What were you gonna say, Baka? Sorry.
GTA 5 released with like I mean everything worked pretty well, so
yeah, that's a pretty solid game.
I don't think it had any like hilariously bad these bugs
there were
things.
some bugs, but it was really never anything like super game breaking or anything.
Yeah, I don't think I experienced any bugs in my multiple playthroughs actually on console or PC.
Which, to be fair, Rockstar has been building this engine for decades.
Yeah. I mean, I had one, but just restarted the game and then bam, that was it.
Yeah. I don't think I had any issue at all when I played it. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I couldn't get out of the car for some reason on mine.
You live here now, okay? We'll just roll down the window and we'll throw snacks in. Well, that was just ahead of, and is now, like, that trailer is the most viewed YouTube video in like a 24-hour span, something like that.
I mean,
beat out a Mr. Beast one.
Yeah, like wild. Although not surprising in the least. If a game was going to do that, it'd be a GTA.
Oh yeah, hands down. And the other little part of the story is that the Joker looking guy with the face tattoos and whatnot, his real life counterpart is trying to sue
Yeah, good luck to you,
Rockstar
sir. Good luck to you.
for using his likeness.
It ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna win that.
Somebody did a side by side comparison from the videos or the videos from TikTok and this game, and there's almost a 1-for-1 of all of those shots from GTA trailer to TikTok videos. It's like, oh wow, you really like, they went to TikTok, they were like, let's see what's in Miami.
And cool.
All right, let's make a trailer. Let's make a trailer based on that.
And you know what I'm gonna do? Because this game doesn't release for 3 years, I'm just gonna be like, taking your character out, bro. Yeah.
Well, he will not win. First of all, Rockstar's got a lot of money. Second of all, there have been lawsuits like this before, and it's
Rockstar's
like,
one of the most like litigious companies out there too. Like they've got lawyers that they put on retainer all the freaking time. You are probably not gonna have a strong enough case to prove that they based that specifically off of you and that you should get royalties from it.
Yeah, what was it? Lindsay Lohan tried years ago?
Yeah. She did, yeah.
It's basically that one was just ruled as like, well, no, it was a parody character.
Yeah, which is exactly what this is going to be. Like, I feel like GTA or Rockstar has their lawyers look at almost every, frame from the game
100%.
and be like,
100%.
is this cool? Like, it's close enough, but it's different enough to be parody, right? And they're like, yes, or no, and then they rework it. Like, just so that people like that guy don't have a leg to stand on, which I get it, like, is also a little predatory. It's not like you should be cheering for Rockstar, but...
Okay, if you are smart,
it is what it is.
You take this free publicity and make yourself bigger.
Yeah.
Don't get aggressive.
You create the character.
Don't get aggressive for it. Yeah, you become the character.
Like,
you become the poster
that dude
boy.
Needs to get a console and a Twitch account and start streaming it as his character.
100%. There you go. Boom. Because Rockstar can't come back after you for portraying likeness for their character, because then they are going to have to admit that they took your likeness for their character, so they have to be hands off.
Do it.
They can be like, well, shit. You take that power back. You make a community and you make some money off of it.
There you go, Mr. Florida Man. We just gave you a super great idea.
Yeah, that just reminded me of the Chappelle thing where Prince released a single and you used Chappelle dressed as Prince with pancakes for the cover of the album.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he's like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? It's sue him for using my likeness, for me being dressed like him and parodying him.
Mm-hmm.
That's checkmate right there, motherfucker.
Yeah. That's funny. I learned a thing today. Thanks, Baka. I didn't know that.
Prince was a smart dude.
And funny, apparently. Like, just embrace it.
Oh, he was hilarious.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some game awards. Which I can almost guarantee you we will talk more about the categories and the award winners than they were given time on the actual show, which is
30
shitty.
seconds. 30 seconds each, and then the music starts playing.
Oh, but we gotta wait. We gotta get 10 minutes to talk to Kojima, and then we gotta give 15 minutes for somebody to come and present the award, but the award winners get 30 seconds to say what they want to say, and then they gotta get their asses out of here. Oh my god. Jeff Keighley, you're cringe, and I don't like you, and you're an idiot, and you're a narcissist. I'm glad that you'll bankroll something like this, but Jeebus, Corpus Christi. Stop masturbating on stage. It's true!
He does that off stage, first of all. You know, what are you going to do, Griff, if this somehow makes it to his desk? If he's like, hey, I want to talk. That was
pretty brutal. If he's like, hey, I want to talk, that's pretty brutal. I'll be like, you know what's brutal? Telling the guys from Larian they get 30 seconds and cutting them off while they're thanking one of the people that on their team that died. That's brutal. God damn it, Jeff Keighley.
First of all, you're not very confrontational. I don't know if you'd be able to say that to his face.
I don't know. I've had a lot of practice yelling at Jeff Keighley through a screen. I think I could probably manage it in real life.
Here, just stay still and pretend you're
watching him on a big screen. That's it.
I'll just get like a picture frame and take it with me, like the Crudes 2 with the kid with the little frame, so I can pretend that it's a screen and I'll be fine. This year's Game Awards convinced me that I have to like the second Alan Wake 2 goes on sale on Steam, like on a sale that I can actually justify paying for it. I have to play it because of some of the stuff that it won. Like it beat Baldur's Gate for best narrative.
Yeah,
I
disagree.
To know.
I disagree with that. Like I haven't played Alan Wake. I've watched a bit of it, and it's pretty fucking good. But I don't know. Like, okay, there were some questionable ones. Like that one, a little questionable in my opinion.
Keep in mind, these are people that are voting this. It's not like there's a committee somewhere voting for
like,
it.
How is there
these ones? I think these ones are committee.
You know why I would say it? The reason that I would end up picking it, because I don't consider Baldur's Gate 3 a narrative game, because of the fact that I get to choose as the individual which path I take. Yes, there are.
Yeah, but that gives you. That means that it does more work than Alan Wake, because it gives you 10 different narratives that you can pick from versus the one that you're gonna get.
Yeah, but I look at narrative. I look at narrative as the story that the makers are trying to tell, and is it being conveyed properly?
I disagree with that entirely.
Well, I know you do, but I'm just saying
that's to have that opinion. But I incredibly disagree with that, because you can't tell me.
I disagree with Cyberpunk 2077 having a DLC in it. That's what I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know why a DLC gets nominations like that and everything, but. You can't tell me that, having choices means the narrative is lesser for it. It means you have to make more shit up so that you can, account for all of the.
Well, but I mean, it doesn't mean they're not putting the work in there, and I don't disagree. The fact that it's awesome that if I choose to blow something up, there's a reaction that goes along with that. You know what I mean? But I look at it as, I guess the same way that I look at like when they're talking about movies and they're talking about adaptations, so that's adapted from another source of medium, and they do adaptations for it. There's still the information that's given. It's like, oh, here's the book. Well, everybody usually goes, the book is better than the movie, right? So they've adapted it to that, but it's like, it's in this case, that's the same difference to me. It's one of those where you look at it and you go, you chose to go right, I chose to go left. Our stories aren't the same, so there's no narrative being told. But
there is a narrative being told. You still have the same overarching story that you play all the way through, and you can even end it in Act 2 if you want, and it's still a complete narrative. You still heard the whole story for the most part.
That's true. I will give you that.
And for the record, the game winners are picked by a jury, not fan votes. What it says, winners.
What's the fan votes for then?
Winners are determined by a blended vote between the voting jury, 90% weight, and public fan voting, 10% weight. So they pick, and then they just see what people think.
Well, that's stupid.
That's about it. I mean,
that's 50-50 I would get. But yeah, I don't get
50-50 I would get. It's like, okay, the community feels this strongly about this. Let us see why they feel so strong about this. But right now, what does the community say? Oh, I don't care, whatever.
It's 10%. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
This is. Do you know how you simplify this shit? You put a freaking fan award of some sort, a People Choice Award of some sort in this thing. If you're gonna do that, because that's just dumb. 10%, seriously?
Yep, your vote.
But you know why it's 10%?
Only counts for 10%.
It's because they're gonna argue as the jury that you can't count on that to be a reliable vote, because people will have campaigns and find multiple ways to vote multiple times and things like that, which is like. So it cheapens that public vote experience, but it's one of those things where it's like, if they're that dedicated, doesn't that also say something about the game?
Yeah, right?
Shouldn't that still count?
I guess they're trying to stop the trolls, is I guess the idea behind it, but it's a 50-50 split. Here's what it looks like to me. When you put it at a 90-10, what it looks like to me is, first, you don't give a shit what I think about it as a fan. Don't. And secondly, what it means is, who paid me the most money to be on my stage?
And that's part of it. Like, that is why there is more trailer and performance stuff and interviews than there are awards. And that's why calling it the Game Awards feels stupid. Like, just make 2 events. Have 2 events and give the awards, like, the stuff that they deserve to be given. Give the people time to accept their awards. Cut off your freaking, like... There were people. What was that dude name? The dude from the Avengers. They handed out an award. He's also in Twisted Metal. I can't remember his name. When he got on stage, I was like, oh no, he's still talking. Oh, this is cringe, because he's telling the audience to shut up and they're not laughing or anything. And it's like, can somebody stop him and present the award already? Because you're giving him. He was on stage for like 5 fucking minutes, being cringe. And then the award was accepted and thrown away, essentially, immediately.
in most award shows, you do have people that'll come out they'll discuss but that's the reason I like duos. I don't like single people coming out. I like because you at least have banter that's there. Not talking to fucking Gonzo though, Jeff Keighley.
Oh, cringe! Oh my god! Like,
all right, Griff, you've got to lay down with the cringe talk, man.
It's so true. Like watching the in between stuff. If it was not a trailer, a musical performance, or like the actual people accepting the award, everything else was just like, ugh, stop this train wreck. It is nails on a chalkboard. It is just, ugh.
I didn't watch most of it, so I was too busy raid leading.
I was half in, half out with it, and
I watched it on YouTube because it's there forever, so I can go back and watch it on YouTube. I finished watching it. My daughter had a concert. I watched part of it before her concert, and I watched the rest of it after. But that's what pause buttons are for.
Like, it kills me, man. That like I was reading through some of these, like watching. I think it was like the 30 minutes before the show started. They started shooting off some of these awards, like the best action adventure game, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now the best, it's like you're just gonna go
they just
cool,
shotgun it. Yeah, they'd be like, "Here's this, and this award, and the winners are this, and this. Thanks, have a nice day."
It wasn't even Jeff Keighley wasn't even the one that handed out that award. It was
the lady at the start.
Yeah, it was the lady who I cannot remember her name, and I feel bad that I don't remember her name.
She had a really pretty dress.
Yeah, she's pretty dressed, great personality. I like watching her. Put her up there.
Yeah, she's fun. I like her. Like,
or do a duo. Like, I'm fine if Jeff's up there and he wants to, go over and drop to his knees when Hideo Kojima comes out. Whatever, but at least have her as an option for part of the time.
But not to be mean to Jeff, but
no, go ahead. He deserves it.
I'm not going to be mean. He is just too bland. Like, he is so like monotoned and boring. No offense. You can put on a good show.
As white toast as they come as far as personalities go.
He's not even toasted. This motherfucker is white bread. Like, he hasn't even been put in the toaster yet. At least on the toaster, you could kind of,
have a little flavor.
Toast. Yeah. You could put a little flavor, maybe a little jelly, butter, whatever you want. Make a sandwich. But he, like, on stage, he just doesn't have a presence. No. Like, there are certain people when they come on the stage
that's what he's got.
He does
they pay somebody else to get up on stage. Like, there are certain people that when they get up on stage, they kind of just draw your attention
Reggie
in, where you could
Nintendo,
just
or formerly of
like,
Nintendo.
I mean, when that motherfucker gets up on stage, everybody is just like,
announcements, but he's on stage, and I'm like, what are you gonna say to me? Please just say it. I'm listening.
I will say this: having gone to one of Reggie's things for PAX. Reggie's hit or miss. It depends on what he's doing. But now, if he's on a stage talking about video games, 100%. But if he's talking to you about business, oh my god, it's like a graduate course, and you're like,
I might feel better about that.
I can't handle this right now. We all wanted a video game thing, and we got a life lesson.
But yes, you need to get somebody like even Doug Bowser when he came up to accept the award. It's like I like him. I like who they put in charge. He's good. He kind of he brings it. He's not as good as Reggie yet, but he's still kind of fresh.
He also giggled at himself because he was talking about the fact that we all are better when we're working together to be able to beat down Bowser, and then he giggled at himself because his last name's Bowser,
which is just hilarious. Like, so good. Oh man, yeah.
I gotta give.
Like the shotgun style of award giving, but as for the awards themselves, Game of the Year, no surprise, Baldur's Gate. I think there would have been riots had that gone to Alan Wake 2. I know that they gave 100%. Them a lot of other stuff, and I'm gonna play it. It's got to be good, right? It has to be. I've been told
it's good. It is. Oh, it's hands down good. Period.
But Swen from from Larian Studios actually went up in the metal chest piece. Like,
that dude is a mega hardcore gaming nerd. Mega hardcore nerd. I say
that with the most love.
Oh yes, like I've told Griff before too. I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 would be anywhere near the pinnacle it is if it wasn't given to Larian and him to run this thing. Like, I think his deep passion for video games and his evolution of the Divinity series just was like the perfect combination to build this masterpiece.
Yeah.
Short of Act 3.
Well, okay, Act 3 is a lot better than people give it credit for. It's just
for now, but still a lot of people have problems.
Yeah. Well, I thought you meant the actual storyline of it.
No, the storyline's good. I like it so far.
It's just the
mechanical.
Yeah, the performance is my biggest critique, which everybody knows. Act 3 is the hardest one. They're still working on it, trying to get it set straight. It's difficult, but I mean, they're working on it.
A ton of issues until I got to the end, and my ending was broken for the character that I was with. But
yeah, my fucking Act 3, like I got through the first part pretty decently, and then once I entered Baldur's Gate, it's like my game was like, oh, is this where I die? Yep, here's a flower. Rip. It's like everywhere I go, all I see is problems. People disappearing, game not loading, games crashing, lag. It's like, oh.
Baldur's Gate 1 Game of the Year. Also, much to Chicken's chagrin, Neil Newbon got the voice acting award, best performance award for Astarion. I don't disagree with Chicken's stance though, and his stance is this: that cast is all so phenomenal that it should have been an ensemble win, and I don't disagree with that. Even if he wins,
that feels perfectly fine. But if I was him, I would have drug the other voice actors up there with me, so that you can give them a little kudos to them.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but I mean, you only had a couple of the actors with you. You could have drugged them up there.
What do you want?
I guess he's right. Yeah. Should have fucking sprinted up there.
They're not necessarily all sitting next to each other either.
Yeah,
so your time to get up there. I still feel as though, and I understand that when we're dealing with gaming and we're dealing with a modern society, I still believe it should be get rid of best performance and make it to where you have best actor, best actress, or whatever you want to say on those, but separate the reward up a little bit, because what ends up happening, you've got one female actress and you can't tell me there was only one actress out of all the video games that are out there that was good at her job. So it's just, I don't know. It bothers me. It bothers me to no end, because I feel like that it's more male-dominated shit. But
it's also because it's a male-dominated field, which is not fair, and that is also, why don't we have more categories and things like that? Also, I wouldn't.
Well, but I think it gives
it
exposure if you
ensemble.
have. Yeah, a best ensemble would be good too. I mean, which they do that in the Golden Globes, I believe.
Yeah,
it's either that or the SAG
Best
Awards.
Ensemble better, because I feel like if you're gonna have somebody who is just incredible in a game, it everybody needs to kind of at least pull a bit of their weight, or else that one person isn't going to be able to be as good. Because Astarion and Neil Newbon is fantastic, and he is only supported as hard by the rest of his cast. I mean, his bickering with the rest of them, his lines with the main character, everything on all of those characters is so good.
It's a great ensemble. There's not a single bad voice line in that whole game.
No,
I think you add that to the list. You have a best performance, which would be an individual performance, right? And then a best ensemble, which would be the cast themselves.
You know what I also want?
I will have to say that I'm a little disappointed that the actual narrator didn't get on there, because she whispers in your ear for the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
Every time you look at something or has something described, she does it in such a way that can send chills down your spine. She does it and it passes it all along so well that Griff had to leave a piece because of the delivery on it.
Yeah.
She, without any mocap or anything,
gonna make me murder somebody. I have to leave right now.
Just words in your ear made you walk away. That's how good her delivery was.
She's great at her job.
Everything, yes.
I will say,
and if y'all have not checked out her outtakes on YouTube, I highly recommend her outtakes.
Holy shit, she is so goddamn good.
To your point of, but they're all dudes. But look at the games that they're nominated from as well. Final Fantasy 16, male-dominated cast. Star Wars, male lead, and a lot of dudes. But I'm not saying they don't have female support characters. I'm just saying male dude lead. The Cyberpunk DLC. Idris Elba, you nominated him because he's actually a phenomenal actor, and you more recognition.
I mean, I haven't played that, but I'm gonna say that's exactly why he was nominated.
But also, he's up front for all of the promotional stuff for that DLC. So I mean, male led again. Alan Wake, the protagonist did not get nominated. It was one of the other characters. That is the female character that got nominated.
Well, there's two protagonists.
Yeah, it's
Alan
dual but it's not namesake protagonist. There you go. It's not Alan Wake himself.
Right.
Baldur's Gate. So many people you could have picked from, but
God.
And then Spider-Man, which nominated Spider-Man. So obviously that's who was going to get nominated from that game. So it's one of those things where it's like that's also an indicative of a larger problem in the industry, which, as we saw, there's still going to be a problem with that. GTA 6's female character was so controversial that like you've already got people going, "I'll never play that game."
Dude, I can't wait to play that game. I can't wait. Like, I want to see it. I want to experience. I want to know the story of New Vice City.
And in addition to having ensemble and actress roles, I want best animal in a game. I feel like our animal companions do not get enough recognition, so I would like that as well. Please tell us who the goodest boy or girl is.
Oh, you know what? Then there needs to be a fan category, because there is one all the way down at the bottom, all the way down. To the very bottom. Player's voice, 100%. What's your player's game of the year? Which was that? It needs to be the best petted.
The best
Who's got the best pet?
Yeah. Well, and more games need to let me pet the dogs and cats, damn it.
There are several games that let you pet the dogs and cats.
Now.
Yeah,
Every game needs to. I'm just saying, put that in there. Best animal lead in a game. Or character in a game.
Can you pet the goodest boy or girl?
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, I think if you did the best animal in it, then it would be Baldur's Gate.
Probably.
And it would be His Majesty.
Yeah. His Majesty was actually the one I was thinking of. But...
Yeah. First of all, His Majesty is the snappiest little shit I have ever seen in a video game.
So popular that when they changed the character model, people rioted to make them change it back.
They did.
His Majesty now has a coat worthy of his name. He is a naked cat. Make him naked again.
Yeah, like I loved that they were like, well, people hated that, so we're just gonna shave him again. He's back to his perfect gloriousness. You like his name being His Majesty and him being a naked cat, a Sphinx cat was perfect. First of all, he's a Sphinx. He is Majesty. He is majestic.
Yeah.
Beautiful in his golden coat.
Best game direction, best narrative, and art direction were all Alan Wake.
Yep, I can agree with those.
Music was Final Fantasy. Not surprising, because Final Fantasy usually has amazing music in it.
Oh yeah, hands down, incredible.
I mean, I have not heard Alan Wake's soundtrack by any means, but I would argue
they did a musical number from Alan Wake, which is I watched a streamer play that part, and that is actually like I think that part is in the game.
Oh my god. Now I have to play this game.
I'm telling you, watching parts of this game, like you don't even understand which parts you're watching because it feels like it's just you're losing your mind watching pieces of this thing because it is just wild. But
I would have to say that like with Baldur's Gate 3, I like the music that it has. Final Fantasy 16, like I agree, their music's always great anyway. Hi-Fi Rush is fantastic. When it comes to their music, and then you can't go wrong with Zelda. So like that's a hard fucking category to come out of in general.
Oh yeah, that's 5 incredibly high tier games right there.
Alan Wake 2 is not on Steam.
Nope, not yet.
No, it's Epic.
Yeah, it's Epic right now. Don't worry,
so you're gonna have to wait. It'll come on sale next year. You'll be fine.
When it comes to Steam, it'll hit Steam on sale, so I'll pay less for it anyway. So thanks for playing. I'll just wait. Sure, game's great, but I'm not gonna go to the Epic.
First one's on there though. You still haven't played it, have you?
It's in my library.
Yeah, you gotta play that first one. Yeah.
Best ongoing game was Cyberpunk 2077. I feel like that's not. I mean, like I'm glad they're still supporting it and everything, but I feel like that's an award for, stuff that has constant additions to it instead of just constant patches.
Yeah,
I would generally agree with you. Like if they would have been like doing huge updates like they've done with Liberty City and then this next one that they're planning, like if they would have done more of those over the past 3 or 4 years, because it's been like
the only DLC or is the only DLC that they're planning on.
I feel like they should have been like doing these like big overhaul changes like No Man's Sky did over a while, like where they were just kind of like pumping up this game, where it feels like they spent the last couple of years fixing the game until they could finally release the DLC
patching the shit out of it, right? So
yeah,
like you're sitting there patching a game and you're calling it ongoing, and it's like I wouldn't call it that. No,
I'd have to give it to one of the other ones. Like Final Fantasy 14 is an ongoing game, constant updates, things like that.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact, Fortnite, Apex.
Fortnite
and
feel
more like what you're trying to get in that category, right?
Well,
Yeah,
Fortnite is stepping up their game too. Like they're adding
I know.
like a
They
Guitar
were,
Hero
like,
type thing, the
every
Lego
other
survival
advertisement.
thing.
In this show
Yes.
was them.
Oh,
Stop.
But I mean, props to them because it's like they figured out not everybody wants to play a damn BR, and they're trying to become a hub. They're the new Roblox, I guess. I don't know, but
they're trying. They're
Speaking
trying.
of hub, one of the things they showed off, you remember a million years ago when Ubisoft said they were going to do the Assassin's Creed Nexus thing, and we're like, oh, I guess that'll be where you can play like all of the games. Well, they did it. It's a VR thing, and it looks like you can play through a lot of the game, like in some parts of some of the games kind of deal, where you can be the different assassins, but it looked not great. Like, it took you that long? What's happening? They also, like, they gave a release date for Skull and Bones. It's like, Ubisoft, it took you this long to do it. What are you guys doing over there? What's happening?
I'm scared of Skull and Bones. After all of these years, like, I'm actually scared of it.
Well, the date is February 16th, which the funny part is the article that we have, if you look down on it, the trailer that's down there that says The Deck, that was from January of last year when it was supposed to be released in March of last year.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. It also seems like it's a very different game than what they told us, because it sounds like now it's more of a single player or like a group game instead of a like an MMO kind of deal. I don't know. It's hard to tell anymore what's happening with this game.
I don't know. I'm just gonna wait for it to come out. Like at this point, I'm expecting
with Ollie before the show started, and Ollie's like, "I'm here to watch it." We were talking back and forth on Discord. I was like, "Oh, you think we're gonna see Skull and Bones?" He's like, "No way." I was like, "Right, no way. That's definitely like." And then I was there, and I was like, "Is this real?" And he's like, "I think so." I was like, "I don't believe it." He's like, "I don't either." Like, Ollie and I, same boat on this. I mean, no pun intended, boat. But it's just weird because they showed that like when it started up, he was like, "This is it," and I was like, "No way."
What was that?
She intended that fucking pun.
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
The thing that's interesting to me on it is the fact that, like, you were talking about the difference in gameplay. It was like it's a 3-player co-op now.
Yeah, it's
Plus,
not an
you're gonna
MMO.
have the multiplayer part of it. So it's like, oh. Okay, I don't really know what to do with this because it's like I want to play the game, but they act like you can do single or up to 3 people co-op.
Also, 3 people being the max is weird. It's like, why? Why only 3?
Because you're on one boat and the boat's not actually a full-size boat like you would normally have.
But even in like Sea of Thieves, it's up to 4. Usually, the sweet spot, it seems, for multiplayer stuff is 4 to 5 players.
Ubisoft does that
4
though.
to 6.
They'll do that 3-spot shit. Like but I mean, modern games do now anyway. If you look at Apex, PUBG, all that shit, they have.
I guess so.
3-person trios.
Hunt Showdown.
I guess we're probably
Remnant
sure you have 2
person.
friends, but you're not gonna have a third.
Well, if you've got a third, you've got plenty of other games to play.
Yeah. So that was weird. Not that was nominated for anything. It was a random thought. I stream of consciousness this show, so here we are.
It's all right. It's the last one of the season.
I've had
last one of the season, not the last one ever, chicken.
The last episode of this year.
I've had a good bit of coffee, so I'm all like, I'm right here, right now. Oh, I just scrolled past this, the trailer thing for, they brought Matthew McConaughey out on stage, and he was also not good. Like, I don't understand. About it was just like, ugh.
I believe him when he comes out and he says, "I wanted to do my signature, all right," but they made me do pew, pew, pew instead. I believe him. Somebody told him that would be funnier. And I was like, do not let nerds write your jokes on this shit.
No, you're all right is perfect.
Troll you into making yourself look like an idiot, because that's what it felt like. Like, we know what his catchphrase is and what everybody knows him for. It just seems like so many people wanted that, because it's the same deal with the Twisted Metal guy, and there was somebody else that did something similar, where it's like they wanted that moment where Keanu Reeves comes out on stage to announce Cyberpunk, and they're like, somebody in the crowd's like, "You're beautiful." He's like, "No, you're beautiful," and that's like their viral moment.
You know why that's not going to happen? Because you're not Keanu Reeves. That's why that's never going to happen.
And it's already happened. You can't, catch the lightning again.
No, but like, Keanu is just being himself.
Yeah,
Like, you could
he's
tell he
just
was a
that
little
dude.
nervous too, being out there, and because that little response was one of those things where you could tell he was a little flustered, kind of like, oh my god, the amount
you're
of
beautiful.
love that is just like showering him. He was like, oh my god, and then somebody happened to say something nice to him, so because he's a nice guy, he said something back, and it just blew up the internet. So I mean,
in the best way.
Those organic moments you can't like force create. You have to let
Nope.
those people go out there, do their thing, and if it happens, it happens. But trying
it
to force
falls
it just
flat.
makes it really weird.
Yeah.
Like you can definitely
it
do
makes it very
something.
awkward.
Yeah, you could let Matthew McConaughey go out there, do his thing, do his little shtick, and let him do his catchphrase and kind of get everybody motivated up and whatnot, and let him do his thing. He's not famous for no reason.
Well, he's not famous for pew pew pew. All right, let him have his thing. Like
Exactly. Come on, everybody
you
would have
wouldn't be like
loved
Batman.
that.
You can't go out there wearing your black rubber suit. You have to wear something more, colorful because these are nerds and they only see in color or something. Like you don't do that.
No, you
Stop
just let
trying
him
to
go out there
ruin
and do his thing.
He did announce a game. The trailer. I don't even think he's in the trailer for the game that he announced.
He's not in the trailer.
I can't remember what it's called. Do you remember what
it's called Exodus.
Thank
it's
you.
called Exodus.
Exodus.
I thought that's what it was, but yeah, he's not even in it.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like he wasn't in that part of it, and it's Archetype as Entertainment is the one that's doing the game, which it's got former BioWare developers in it, and it's a subsidiary of Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a lot of
That's so
pieces that
strange.
just came together,
Yeah,
But it does feel like Fallout, BioShock, or like not BioShock, Fallout, but like Mass Effect mashup almost, but a more hopeful one because instead of a settlement needs you, you're like creating, whole viable places to live and things.
Can we also stop calling main characters the Traveler? I feel like
I think there's a lot of cliche terms that we could probably stop using, and that should be on the list.
I mean, you could say Explorer, and I'd be happier with it. I would Traveler. It's like, no, really? It travels? Okay, but that's the
Explorer
main
would be
character.
a little much too. Like they're trying really hard to find something, but you could just give them a name. It worked great in Mass Effect. Shepard.
Mm-hmm.
It is a gender neutral name. You can make
give
your
you that.
playable character whatever you want, and it fits, and it sounds great. And it also is, one of those terms where it's a name, but you're shepherding people to the next thing, so it makes sense on multiple levels. Adds a little narrative texture to it, if you will.
Yeah, depending how deep you want to get into
Yeah. So
the storytelling.
don't just, this guy's the Traveler. Come on, man. Writers.
It looks like it could be a strategy game too.
I don't know. It's sometimes with these trailers they show you something. Like one of the ones that I thought was super cool was Last Sentinel. And that trailer was literally a cinematic. I have no idea what the gameplay is going to be on that, but it was very cyberpunky and I'm super interested. Could be that game plays like XCOM and I'll never play it in my whole life. Not that the XCOM strategy thing is a bad thing. Not my cup of tea. But that's how game trailers are now.
You played a turn-based game? Just think of everything like Baldur's Gate
here's
now.
a teaser, and they show you this cool cinematic, and then the game is nothing like that cinematic. So, who knows what Exodus or Last Sentinel are going to be.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, did you just watch it?
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't watch any of it. I mean, it looks interesting, but I mean, you don't really get a feel for the game at all.
I'm excited though. They showed one of the games that I loved on 360, and I ended up playing it there, and I also ended up playing it on my PC. Was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and the fact that they are remaking that game makes me so happy.
Is it remaking or remastering?
It's remake. It's a full remake game, and for those that don't know, it's the same guy that did No Way Out and the one with the couple that gets shrunk down that's recently come out, but that I can't think of right now off the top of my head. But but it's a cooperative game for that one. The like No Way Out is. What they did with this for the gameplay, and what was so unique about it is you have two brothers. You're controlling one with the left stick and one with the right stick. So as you play through the game, that's how you play it. And so I'm interested to see in a modern era how they're going to, because some of the views they were showing, I'm like, man, that's going to be interesting. to try to control. But the story is just, it's really, really well told. There's no, at least in the original, there was no talking. It was just like made up sim sound talking. And so I'm interested to see if they progress the story the same way, or if they decide to hire voice acting, or what they end up doing with it. But I think it kind of loses its feel if you hire people for it, because they do such a good job of telling the story without having to have acting in it. So, but I'm excited about that one. Oh. That was one of the few I was excited about.
I saw more stuff that I want Chicken to play on stream for me than I wanted to play for myself.
That's fair.
Because some of it was like, there was one, and I still can't remember. Oh, what was the name of the thing that I told you about that we had to look up because I couldn't remember except for one word, and now I can't even remember the word properly. It starts with a K.
Yeah.
Karen or something like that. It's like,
no, the K. Yes, the one you're talking about does have a K in it, and then there was one you wanted me to play, which is the Tales of Kinzera.
Yeah, the one
Zao.
that I was like, you're gonna have to tell me how you feel about that one, because that one was a platformer. There was that one. There was the.
God, what was the name of that other one? Because I had to look it up, and it just random. It was like in the bottom of an article. The name was there, and I can't think of the name of it.
The one that I can remember the name of was Rise of the Ronin, which I'm interested to see if Chicken actually likes, because he was like, yeah, and then they had a gun in the gameplay, and he's like, I don't know about that now.
Yeah, even when I play Shogun, I always try to stay away from the musket, the gunplay. I don't know. I don't like, if I'm gonna play medieval Japan, I prefer to play right before the gunpowder era.
That makes sense.
That's it.
Makes sense.
First Berserker Kazan. That's the name of it. That's the one I was like, I was watching the trailer and I was like, yeah, I can't play this, but Chicken might like it, and I would like to watch him play it.
Oh yeah, I think that was the one that I was like, hell yeah, let me get on that one.
The one that you're like, is that guy a vampire? And I was like, no, I think he's a ghost. I think the old lady called him a ghost.
Oh, so it's on Steam too, even better.
There's a game too that I think is an interesting concept. It is not something I will play. I will watch people play it. Which is Harmonium the Musical, where your main character, she's deaf. But the game's coming to Xbox. It's going to be on Game Pass, but it's also coming to Netflix.
That's
so
weird.
I guess
so
there's like 2 or 3 of these games that are also coming to Netflix, which is just strange to me. How does that work? Like when I pull it up on my browser, is it going to be cloud? Like I'm streaming it like I do with Game Pass?
Is it actual gameplay, or is it like their choose your own adventure stuff that they've done before?
I don't know. No. It's actual gameplay, because they have mobile games.
I don't know. Like if you're going to play it on Netflix, I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, there was another one too that I saw a minute ago that was coming to Netflix. I can't remember what it was. The people that did Untitled Goose Game have a game coming out called Big Walk, which have these weird looking duck creatures with googly eyes. It's supposed to be like a puzzle game, I think. So that one will be interesting.
There was a lot of like indie game stuff that got shown off. Not that that's a problem. I don't think it is at all. I'm just saying there was a lot.
It's good for their exposure too to have something like that.
Yeah.
There's a game. I want more of this. Now, I am not a big horror fan when it comes out to playing the games and stuff. I'm very choosy on what I want to play. Of course, Outlast is one of my favorite games of all time, but still.
Isn't there a new Outlast thing happening too?
It's Outlast Trials. It's a multiplayer.
Yeah, I've been keeping track of it. Yeah. Unfortunately, the community it seems like it's dying pretty hard for it, which I'm a little surprised. But it's a co-op style trial game where it's 4 people trying to solve the trials against monsters, and the monsters are AI. So, like, as a group, that would probably be a good game that we could play. But I've been watching for it to be on sale, and it's just not giving it to me.
Well, the full release is coming soon, so they'll probably do it shortly after that.
Oof, man, already? Their game is like straight up dying.
Well, like first of the year, I think is what it said on the trailer.
Good luck. You need to do something drastic.
They're hoping that'll get some interest back in it.
You better fucking release a massive update with it.
What was the horror thing you were going to talk about?
Dead by Daylight is expanding out of their universe and creating individual games for like solo playing horror games, so you can actually I think what they figured out is there's only so many bad guys from horror movies, and so you're gonna have to figure out something eventually, so you create your own, I think, is the thought process on this. And I love the fact that they're doing that, because I think it's brilliant on their part, because they have a very successful game when it comes to their multiplayer.
They just released Chucky.
Asymmetric.
I gotta buy it.
And then, but I love the concept of that, and that's called The Casting of Frank Stone.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that game does well.
One that I was actually interested in is called Lost Records Bloom and Rage. It's made by Don't Nod, which is the people that did Life is Strange and all of that. So
okay,
yeah, it looked pretty cool. Interesting main cast. It's all ladies. And there's like a time jump, so basically you see what happens to them and then skip 27 years to see where they're at now. And I'm interested. I'm interested in that story. It's supposed to be late next year. No actual launch date, just late 2024. So cool. Let me see.
We also got Arcane Leon has the new Marvel game, Blade.
Yeah, I'm interested. I liked the dude that came out on stage to talk about it. That is the new main character. I'm there. I want to know what that's about.
I also want to know is because they don't show you much. You just the barbershop scene and all that stuff.
At best,
they're usually first person.
Yeah.
So are we playing Blade as first person with that sword and shit?
I doubt it. Something might tell me we might be doing a little third person.
I would think third person and combat similar to the Batman and Spider-Man series. Those style.
I think you could do a lot better like that.
I'm interested. It caught my attention, but I also liked the personality of the guy, which will also sometimes sell me on stuff because I'll be interested to see what they do with the character. So I was interested. They brought Sean Murray out on stage too, and the groups of people out there making announcements about stuff, and you'd think after No Man's Sky, where he got super bashed for over-promising and under-delivering regardless of reason for why, you'd want to temper people's expectations a little when you announced your next project. He's like, oh hell no, watch this.
Okay. I've been on Twitter a couple of times, and he is straight up memeing all over himself. Like, he is living up to that. Like, there was one post that was earlier. He was like, all the people behind the scenes are like, Sean Murray, don't make sure you hold back. Don't overpromise. Don't everything. He comes out on stage and he's just like, I'm gonna give you the fucking world. It's procedurally generated, and everyone's gonna make $1 million. What?
Yeah.
Whatever. And he's like. So at least he's memeing on himself, and I mean, No Man's Sky eventually turned into a pretty fucking good game.
To understand, you cannot do that twice. You cannot launch garbage and then have it come through twice.
I will also say this, and I will to my dying breath, I will say this: that is more Sony's fault than it is anybody else's, because the year before that game was supposed to be released, they lost all their shit from a flood. And they did not get an extension on when they were going to end up releasing the game. I guarantee you, Sony told them they had to do it then, and that's the reason that he ran into the problem. I think he had. Do I think that the game is right now is what was supposed to be the finished product? No, I think about from the release to about halfway to where we are now is where the game would have been.
Yeah,
but it still would have been in a much better shape than it was from when it started.
Also,
and I will say this: that he cannot overpromise now. Like he has burned all good faith. Like there's nothing. He is a meme. He is a joke.
Well, that's
and anything he says, he promises
and underdeliver again. You can't. Well, it won't matter that leniency again.
It won't matter if he underdelivers because everyone is just going to be like, "Oh, it's just No Man's Sky again." They won't care. Like they will only care if he delivers. If he doesn't, it's the same old. If he does,
he's got an excellent game now. So he's just now that he's got a game that's excellent, nobody's going to care at that point because they're going to go, even if it's short from where he's saying, it's going to get to where he is saying.
Yeah, like people aren't going to care because they don't trust him. Like they know he overpromises, and everyone like you right now are like, oh, you're listening to what he's saying, going, yeah, I'm sure you're just overpromising, which is what 95% of the gaming community is saying, going, oh, he's just overpromising. We're not going to take his word for it because of last time. Show us, and then maybe your third attempt, we might actually believe you. But right now, you could say whatever you want, little man. I will believe it when I see it, because your words are not worth much right now.
To be honest, though, it's one of those where you're going to have an entire group of people that are going to say the same thing about Cyberpunk, because when Cyberpunk was officially released, it was fucking
garbage.
Shit.
Yeah,
and now they've finally patched it 2 years later from when.
But I also
3 years
think
later.
that means that the next thing that they announce, that CD Projekt Red announces, you have to be very skeptical about, which hopefully people are also skeptical about this game. Which I guess
I'm sure they will be.
You think every one of his games is going to be a 3-word title that has no in it? No Man's Sky, Light No Fire. Like, what's next?
Probably.
Then no has to go at the end.
Yeah, you got to move it all the way to the end. I said no.
There you go. It's a horror game. I said no.
I think that the thing about this game too is he said that he was going to create a planet bigger than Earth. And first of all, like Griff and I talked about this a little bit. How do these servers work? Because is this like Atlas, where you're going to have a squared off area that's dedicated to a server? But he wants everyone that's playing the game to be on the same planet,
which is just not gonna work. Like, ask Blizzard how quickly they had to figure out how to make layers work for World of Warcraft. Like, it is not going to be able to sustain that. And if your servers can sort of sustain that, people's PCs are not. Like,
maybe what happened is something with the layering, but he's not wrong either. They're all living on the same. They're all playing on the same.
Oh yeah, you are all there on our servers. Our computers can see where you're at any given time. You can't see the other people. But
you can group together, and then you'll be pulled over to the other person's server. So maybe that's what he means.
I don't know, man. I think in his little mind that he wants it to work like this, but one of the things that I think he's mistaking is the ridiculousness of gamers. Is that imagine he creates a game in which can host all the players. There's enough square footage to host millions of people.
Right.
Those millions of people are going to gather in the smallest area that they can and literally destroy your server. It will blow up. They will push it to the limits and extremes. I have watched this year after year after year with Blizzard games. They push them to the extremes of where their shit catches on fire. Like, it's bad. You can't do that. That's why they generated layers to where it's like, too many people. Let's start stretching them out through these giant stacks, and so that it's easier on the servers. That's easier. But if you just try to make one giant sheet and stick everybody on it, they're gonna all congregate to one spot, and then your server is just gonna go pop.
Well, not only that, people are chaotic in games.
Yeah.
This goes back to Elon not wanting to shoot police officers, right? Well, guess what? There are people that want to shoot the police officers in the game. So it's
in games, of course.
In games, but when you put people in a PvP environment, because obviously that's what it's going to end up being, is more of a PvP environment. When you put them into a PvP environment, guess what they're going to do? They're going to just completely destroy everything that they possibly can. It's just because that's the way they work. How can I troll other people?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I love the concept, I really do, but I do not have faith in humanity enough to do it. But I do like the fact that instead of going, hey, we're going to have a rainforest area, and we're going to have a desert area, and we're going to have stuff like that. Instead, they're like, we're going to have a fantasy area. We're going to have an underwater area that if you want to have, fins and shit, you can just do that. And if you want to do...
I'm getting some wild Westworld vibes here.
Yeah. It's very Westworld.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. It really is.
You want. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
It's a cool concept.
Call me intrigued. I'll watch it. I'm still interested in No Man's Sky. I've never put time into it, but maybe someday.
Well, and think of the content side of it. So you're going to have that person that goes, I want to watch somebody in the fantasy world, and somebody else is like, oh, I want to watch somebody that's over in the underwater part of it. And you might have somebody that never leaves the fantasy part of that because that's their niche. That's what they enjoy doing. Or maybe you'll have one that's a prehistoric world, so you'll have dinosaurs there. So now you're competing with Ark.
Fantastic! I'm there.
Oh, you know what? This one's not on the list of this compilation list, but there was a Jurassic Park game that got shown off.
So
it's set back in like the original Jurassic Park.
It apparently it takes place directly after the films.
Well, I mean,
directly after the first film.
Like you can tell that it's literally right after they get rescued from the island.
The main character is
T-Rex and the
The main character comes out and it's like, oh, is anybody there? I've been left behind, and it's like right after they leave the island. So,
yep.
I mean, they've done that a couple of times. The Jurassic Park Telltale game takes place during the first one too. So not a lot of non-canon stuff.
I want to see more gameplay footage of this, or actual gameplay footage, because I'm still not convinced any of that was gameplay footage. But
the part where she's on the little boat thing and the alligator jumps up on top of it, I'm pretty sure that looks like that's gameplay footage where you're trying to use the little boat thing to scoot across a different thing. That felt a lot like Resident Evil style right there, where you activate it and you've got to fight off the alligator to keep it off the boat from pulling you in. So that felt very gameplay wise. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be like third person survival horror, like
in the hallway it looks like first person.
It might be first person.
Yeah, in first person. Now if it's first person, I'm all about it. If the gameplay is good. The third person, I would, if they're going to do third person, I'd rather it be an actual survival game to where I'm having to get resources and survive, waiting on the people to come back for me type deal. And then now Ark style, but modern, right? Can I get this? Make this stuff.
I think first person is going to be a better bet then, because for Jurassic, if you're going with that version of Jurassic Park, then the urgency is going to be your main story push. I
think it's narrative.
Yeah,
I think
it
the whole
has
thing's
to be
going to be
narrative.
narrative.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's going to fit better into that, and maybe it's just surviving until the hurricane passes, or something. Maybe turning the power back on, or doing something to escape the island.
Right.
So I'm interested. I want to see more for sure, because Jurassic Park is my favorite movie of all time. So.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff and some things and all. Oh, I guess there was one other actual award thing that I wanted to get your hot takes on. This one's not it. The hot take not on this. Legitimately, Last of Us got best adaptation. I would agree with that.
Hands down.
I think all of the I think most of the people in that category, like the Super Mario Brothers movie and whatnot, worthy of being in that category. But Last of Us, the TV show, was pretty good. Like pretty fucking good.
I'll give it a little bit more to The Last of Us because it changed its medium entirely from video game to real life, where Mario was like a video game to CGI. Yeah. Like you were still able to animate it as you wanted in the game.
Nobody wants to watch.
Nobody wants to watch a realistic. Nobody wants to watch.
If you want to watch that, there's a version from the '90s. You can.
But that's why I'm giving it a little bit more credence to The Last of Us. Not only was it the best adaptation, they also changed mediums, which is especially difficult too.
Yeah.
So that is not taking away from the Mario movie. The Mario movie was absolutely incredible. I loved it.
Has anybody here watched Twisted Metal at all?
I have not yet.
We were going to, and we got sidetracked.
I think
people that have watched it and said it's fun.
Did you watch it?
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Did you like it? I can't remember what you said. I think you even talked about it on the show.
I mean, it was okay. I mean,
but was it an actual adaptation? Because
it was okay. So if you're going into adaptation of like, in the sense of, well, what did they take the game and put it in?
His internet's dying. Please hold.
That's a great spot for him to freeze on, though.
There you go. Okay, so they're taking an adaptation. What? Sorry, Baca.
If they're doing an adaptation, like this is a video game where we're redoing it and retelling the story to a different format, like a show or a movie, it kind of fails on that end. Like, if you're going into the Twisted Metal show expecting tons of just going around driving cars and blowing each other up, and it doesn't really do that.
Isn't that like the whole point? I don't know. I don't.
I mean, there's a little bit of it, and towards the end of the season, there's a big scene of a bunch of cars and shit. But most of the season 1, what was not involved really with any of that. It felt more of like a we'll throw in characters from throughout the franchise that, you know, not even all of them are adapted correctly. Anyway,
that's weird.
Yeah, like Mr. Slam from Twisted Metal 2. It's like, oh, he's in there for a brief moment, but he's not in his vehicle, and we're gonna show you how he got his name, Mr. Slam, which involved his genitals and being used as a hammer.
Okay, well then, God. All right.
So, yeah, and there's some other characters that like pop up like briefly, and it's like, oh, there's that character, and they're dead. And yeah, so like honestly, as an adaptation of the Twisted Metal franchise,
not
it
good.
Fails. It fails in that part. It was still kind of entertaining to kind of go through and watch in some parts, but I think Sweet Tooth was probably the best character out of that, and even then, he's not the main focus at all. And they leave it open for like the actual Twisted Metal tournament for season 2, assuming that they get a season.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they got a season 2.
Yeah, they got season 2. They mentioned it.
It's been greenlit
in the speech or in the.
So maybe that'll they and make more action how you expect Twisted Metal to be, but season 1 was basically it felt like it was kind of that for all of it.
Yeah, like I my biggest thing is if when you do adaptations like this, whoever is doing it needs to just needs as a starting thing to give it 2 seasons. Like, you don't worry about renewing it. You just be like, you got 2 seasons. You can do your setup, because people who don't know franchises, you need time for a setup. Then you can kind of go into more of the meat in season 2. But you like Netflix is so bad with it. You need at least 2 seasons. You need at least 2 seasons to establish some lore, canon, and interest. Like, giving them only one chance sucks.
Disney has done the shit like that too. Like, look at Willow. Like, I love the Willow movie. I like the TV show did it, and then they're like, yeah, we're just gonna cancel it after 1 season. Netflix does that shit all the time.
Yeah,
I feel it too.
The Dark Crystal TV show. Yeah, Dark Crystal got they it's like, oh yeah, they won all these awards and all this other stuff. Everyone loved it, and it's gone.
Yeah,
it's like,
but it's one of those things. Like, for that show, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's that good, but the amount of hours people spent watching it was not. It's like everybody's eyes are worth the same. Like, you could be a millionaire and watch that show, and your time spending it is the same as someone who's poor and watching the show. It's like, it doesn't matter. If only 2 people are watching it, even if it is God tier, it's just not making money. But I strongly believe 2 seasons are absolutely necessary for any sort of adaptation. At least.
Well, and that allows you as a writer, you're building it and you go, okay, we know where we're going by the end of season 2.
Yes.
So like if they go mid season 2, you're not getting a season 3. Guess what? You change a little bit on the end and you can complete it after 2 seasons.
Yeah, like, you could at least do a 2-season arc and then kind of leave it a little open so that if you get that 3rd season, you can continue your flow. If not, then at least you've given some sort of a semblance of an ending. But 2 seasons, at least 2.
Well,
Castlevania Nocturne to me was kind of the same too, where it's like, yeah, it's I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but
it was a setup.
Looking at even still as a setup, if you're looking at what it's based off of as far as the Run of Blood line, it fails as an adaptation.
I think he said it fails.
Yeah, I
internet is
think
failing.
this is.
You guys,
think
I'm
this
hoping
all-
his recording sounds good on his.
We're all in the same
Thank God
boat.
we
We're just having
record.
to decipher what's happening here.
Yes.
It's his internet is.
As a adaptation from the game to that story wise, it kind of fails in that regard.
Well,
But,
I will say
again,
strongly.
I still enjoyed it.
I will say strongly that the Netflix Castlevania people have taken strong liberties of changing the story from the games. Like they pick things, but they shift the story into something different almost every time. So
Which I'm not saying is not necessarily bad, but I'm just saying as an adaptation from the Rondo of Blood storyline to that, in that regard, it failed.
Yeah.
yes.
I still enjoy the show, but if you're just looking at just
Lagging again.
Yeah.
It must be bad weather out there. But yes, what I agree with him, if you are adapting Rondo of Blood to the Netflix, it's not that good. But if you look at it as a standalone, it's pretty good. Which some mediums do. Like The Last of Us, as an adaptation, it's near perfect, and as a standalone, it's near perfect. Sometimes it's like Halo, as an adaptation, it leaves things to be desired.
Hey, I got a second season though, which is about
but
to
We
as
got a
a
second
here.
season because people that don't understand the franchise were cool with what they saw.
Yes, and as a standalone, it fared better than it being an adaptation, and that's what like consumers have to understand is like you have these two different audiences that look at this together, and one knows the source content and knows what they're looking at and can compare, like Griff, and then you have people who can view it as a standalone and has no idea for the source content and can view it as it is. So,
Which is not
and
me.
depending on where it falls and like what it does directs more towards is what kind of audience you're gonna grow from. So, and The Last of Us hit both of those.
Yeah.
Whether
It
you
stayed
knew
true enough
everything
to source
about Last of
material
Us?
to be good for people that knew, and it didn't need as much explaining for people who didn't know that they weren't going to understand it, you know?
Exactly. Like it hit enough
Agreed.
story beats to it made it easy to consume for people who didn't know anything about The
I
Last
would
of Us
also
series.
argue some of that is the cast was just super stellar too. I mean, you got some real strong actors and actresses that really carried a lot of
Oh,
that.
but the
which-
hate on the internet when they announced who the people were.
Yeah,
and they were
I
just
know.
Like,
And
"That's
then-
not them, blah blah blah. Then the show comes out, and they're like, "These are the people you're complaining about."
And to be fair, like I was not a hater or anything, but I was like, well, I don't know because I have such a hard time divorcing myself from what they look like in the game because that's what I've spent so many hours with already to watching this. But like by the end of the first episode, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm all in. That's Joel and Ellie for me right now. That's fine. I'm good.
Yep.
So I was all about it. Anyway, the one that I actually wanted your hot takes on, best multiplayer.
Oh,
The winner was
I
Baldur's
strongly
Gate
like
3.
I vehemently disagree with that, and the panel who said that I
There's
strongly disagree.
there's an
I would be
inherent
interested to see what the
difference.
10% was on that.
I mean,
Yeah, I'd be interested. I strongly disagree.
I feel like there's an inherent difference these days between multiplayer and co-op. This Baldur's
But,
Gate
hey,
is
if
a
you
co-op game, and I get it. Outstanding
if you read
online
their little-
multiplayer game design, including co-op and massive multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. That's what it says, and I get it.
Yes.
It's just one of those things where that feels like you're putting two different categories in one.
It is because it would take away from his time to put more trailers in this damn show.
And I will say this against it. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 is a game that is best experienced as a single player thing. When you play it within co-op, it
It's
completely changes the design of the game. Like, you are no
I would
longer
argue
the main character.
that is where, like, once you get it into co-op, that is where you start losing your narrative, like,
Yes,
strength.
that's fair.
Because then
That's
you
fair.
have, if you have a whole pack of murder hobos playing it together, the story is not as narratively cohesive as
and
it
you
was
don't
when
know
you're
what's
playing it
going
single
on.
player.
you don't know what conversations other people have had. Like you could be,
you will now. They show you now.
Well, only if you like if you click on them.
But
yeah, but if you're out doing something and looting, and then you see a bubble pop up when one of your people are talking to some like major quest line, and you're like, oh shit, am I missing something? And then you get over there and half the village is dead, and you're like,
what happened?
Did I miss something? Yeah, don't worry about it. I took care of it. I mean, you lost a pretty big chunk of your story, so I have to disagree with the multiplayer one.
I love Baldur's Gate, and as much as they won, I feel like they deserved everything that they got, and maybe some of the stuff they didn't. This one's not one I feel like they should have gotten, though. This one I feel like is better served. Like, best multiplayer feels like something that you're looking for, like a matchmaking co-op game, or not co-op, but matchmaking competitive kind of game.
Well, not even competitive, just like a party game or anything like that.
Yeah, it was Baldur's Gate, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter, and Mario Brothers Wonder. I would argue Party Animals and Street Fighters feel accurate for that. The others do not.
That is correct.
The others are co-op games. Like, if you wanted to have a best cooperative category, fucking fantastic. Do it. I know, Jeff Keighley, it's going to cut into your time. Do everything else. Stop doing everything else. This is an award thing.
Man, every damn Reddit thread that I saw talking about this had the same damn issue. There's too many commercials. Like, there's too many breaks, and there's not enough award shows, which some people were like, I love it like that. I love that we have a place that we can get like a new E3 where we get trailers and we get performances, and it's like, I agree with that.
But that's not what this is supposed to be.
Yeah, like, change the goddamn name then.
Yeah.
The game.
Get rid of the pretense that you're giving out awards for anything at all, because you're really just, throwing out some titles and then going on about your advertisements. But
I don't understand, and I get that some of our award shows that we've had are completely archaic in the way that they're designed. But they've changed too, right? Mm-hmm. Academy Awards have changed their formats over the years. Tony Awards have a great format on how they do stuff because there's a lot about performance anyway. Mm-hmm. Why don't we just go, we know Game of the Year is going to be the last thing that's done. Instead of showing a trailer, remind people what damn game and how people reacted to it while they were playing it. So like Baldur's Gate 3, show some shots of some some of the streamers streaming part of the game and something crazy happening and then them reacting to it, or maybe they're crying or whatever it happens to be. And they get show different portions throughout the entire show of different things. Game of the Year nominee number 2, and then show whatever that is. Like, it would make a lot more sense.
And yes, that right there is one of my giant complaints. Is that whenever they do award shows elsewhere and they read off the list of categories, you get like pictures of it, and you kind of get a little feeling for what they each are. Like when you have whoever's reading it up there, they're reading it out, and you can have like a little I don't know, screenshot or something. Yeah, playing something behind them so that people are like, oh, the Baldur's Gate is up. Damn, that looks good. Okay, Alan Wake is up. Damn, that looks good. If they did it
the way that other shows do, where they do what Oak said, where it's like a little bit of like a 10-second compilation of this, and then a 10-second of this nominee, and then this. That's like 50 seconds worth per category of compilations. That's almost a whole minute of Jeff Keighley not sucking his own dick on stage.
How dare you? 30 seconds for the taking the award, or for the reward speech. You also have to add about 30 seconds for them to actually announce. So you're almost dedicating 2 whole minutes
per category
to an award.
Oh my god!
That is just way too much. You know how much advertising
that's a minute and a half that Kojima could be on stage. You don't understand, okay? You don't get it.
That was a lot of gripe. A lot of griping that I heard is you gave them 30 seconds, cut them off, and you gave other people 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10-minute interviews.
Speech or some
fact
shit.
That, presenters would have longer presentation, they're just up there bullshitting on the mic, really,
for
2 to 5 minutes.
The guy from the Avengers that's also on Twisted Metal, you can't convince me Peacock did not pay for him to be up there and to get an award.
Oh, I know he did. Well, the same thing with Timothée Chalamet showing up to present an award. Like, he looked so uncomfortable and out of place. You cannot convince me that dude was like, I fucking love video games. I want to be a part of this show. Please let me in. No, that was definitely somebody handed me this card and my agent told me I have to go on stage and read it and I have no idea what
Because
I'm doing
Wonka's
here.
coming out and
Yeah,
Dude
'cause
comes out in
That's
March.
why. Is because he's got stuff coming out and his agent put him out there, not because he gives a damn about being there. And I mean, the Kratos dude, like, cool, he got to come out and open the show with the award and everything. Made a joke about his last year's acceptance speech being longer than this year's COD campaign.
Which was a great slam.
Really hurt COD developers' feelings, yo. Those people got on Twitter so angry about that shit. Like, y'all, you have the same fucking mentality as every single one of your little tween lobbies. Like, y'all can't even just let it go. But the audacity to say, as the winners accepting the award, you can only have 30 seconds to say all of your thanks, versus letting somebody get up there and just bullshit for 2 to 5 minutes before handing out the award. That is garbage. Like, y'all gotta... Jeff Keighley, if you want this to be an award ceremony that people take seriously, you need to fucking streamline some shit and cut out the fat. I'm not saying cut out all the musical performances, because there were less of them this year, which was nice, and the ones that were there were pretty good. A little wild.
We just need to get a little bit more love for the actual awards.
Yes.
Like people, I'm terrible with names. The guy who runs Larian Studios, like, he deserved more than 30 seconds. He deserved better than having music played over his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
Like, all the work that he has done,
you know, like, Jesus.
What the fuck is that gonna hurt? Like,
especially if you're giving somebody the game of the year. It's the end of the damn thing.
Yeah, let him go for a minute, you know?
Yeah, like, give him some time.
I get you don't want 8-9 minute speeches like the one from the Kratos guy. Fine.
Well, that guy seems like he's got a big personality too, so they should have had a talk with him, you know, but like, all right, now we need to move on. I appreciate it, but there needs to be ways to handle things like that while also still giving it to people who can have an acceptance speech longer than 30 seconds.
I feel like they should review every year's show afterwards, like, just go to the internet and see what people thought and what people didn't, and then realize, okay, maybe we don't do a 10-minute spiel where Jeff Keighley talks to one of the Muppets again, because that was fucking terrible and nobody liked it. It didn't land. Don't do that. Just cut that.
You're talking to my favorite Muppet and you look like an idiot. You look more like a Muppet than the Muppet looked like at the end of the day.
Like,
horrible acting.
But I don't feel like they do that. I feel like Jeff Keighley goes, this is my show and this is what we're doing with it, so you guys can just, you know, fuck off if you don't like it. And that's how you ruin things. Like, that's how
Ninja did a better job with the Muppets than you did, buddy. That's all you need to know.
Like I said at the beginning, Jeff Keighley has no charisma. No offense, no charisma. Brother Man is not a host face. Like, I don't know what it is, but he's got this just mundane, boring-looking face that just doesn't exude excitement or, like, tells you a story or draws you in. Like, every time you look at him while he's talking, he just looks like he's talking to a teleprompter without any real expression, and it kind of, like, falls out of it. And it's like
on a personal
level, the lady
level,
was good. I liked her.
He loves games and he loves the industry and things like that, and I get that, but the problem is it doesn't come across real well. Like, Chicken's right. He has all of the personality of a missing sock, you know?
Oh my god.
Missing sock.
It's sad, it's probably dirty, and, you know, it's just missing something. So,
he's the equivalent to having a plastic house plant as a host.
Yeah, that's also accurate. It's just, you got to do something. And the thing is, it won't change because he's a narcissist. He loves the sound of his own voice. So he will not let somebody else do that job. He will not give up his presence on the stage. He will not give up his perceived, everybody loves me for doing this kind of thing. So,
hey, I'm just glad that we had the lady at the beginning where she was hosting it and whatnot. Like, I liked her. She was good. She handled it. She had this kind of little bit of personality. And, like, when the one thing that I saw after she announced, I think it was the Super Mario Wonder win, like, she stood off to the side and, you know, got all proper and whatnot and introduced Doug, and he walked up and she just kind of stood there, and you could kind of feel like she was, like, listening to his conversation and, you know, kind of into it, listening to him. And then after it was done, you know, they went up, it was like, okay, that's good. That feels good. Instead of Jeff Keighley kind of giving you the old stare down, it's like,
well, but I
kind of like, get off the stage, go
like,
away. You're ruining my.
To use a term we use here in the South, I don't think she thinks she's too big for her britches. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
She's
There's
right
a
where
little bit of
she needs to
humbleness
be.
in there too. You can
Yeah.
feel it. Like I liked her. She was good.
She was
Put her
happy
on
to be
screen more.
there. And
Yes.
it wasn't for monetary reasons. I mean, yes, she's getting paid. Don't get me wrong. It's not
But
like
she
she's like,
likes it. I don't even know who that was.
She enjoys being there. I don't even know who it is. But
somebody that's not
seemed like
Jeff Keighley, and that's the important part. Oh.
Sydney Goodman.
I know it started with an S. I wanted to say Sophie, but that was wrong. Sydney.
No, it's Sydney Goodman.
What has she done in the past? Like, is she just hired for this?
I don't
Professional award presenter.
She is a presenter. Oh, it's a host and freelance content creator for
There
the
you go.
Daily Fix.
Okay.
A
So she
show
knows
for
how
the
to host.
IGN. She's from IGN.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I liked her. She definitely had the right kind of personality for the pre-show, and then the show actually started, and Jeff Keighley came out, and it went down.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
He had an hour of her and like a million hours of him.
Yeah, it's like bring her back. Help.
Speaking of a million hours, we're getting closer to the 2 hour mark.
You told
so-
everybody at the beginning this
I
is going to be a
did.
long show.
And
This is your fault.
I did not rush you guys through anything or anything like that. I am just mentioning that people might be getting tired of us by now. How many
Yeah,
times
fine.
have you hit the pause button for
It's-
breaks?
It's the last show of the year.
That's true.
So-
You're so slow with that. It's the last show of the year.
It was intentional. You know it was.
I know, right? Come on now. You should get it by now. It's like the 4th time that I've done that.
Your suspense. I don't like it.
Was there any other category upset or surprising trailer or anything that you wanted to bring up?
No, that was all for the Game Awards and whatnot.
Yeah, I just wasn't a whole lot, other than the fact that we can just sit there and bitch about it all damn day. There wasn't really a whole lot there that I was
there
surprised
wasn't. As far
about.
as on the trailer front, yeah, it wasn't too surprising, but it also the ones that we didn't know about weren't so groundbreaking that everybody,
To me, this
immediately
is the
lost their
least
minds.
eventful.
Yeah.
I think. Well, maybe Hideo's the OD thing, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
the thing is he releases, and it's hard to really buy in, especially after the Silent Hill thing, which I understand that was partially Konami, where it's like he showed off something really exciting. There was even a playable teaser, and then it just disappeared. So it's hard to like really buy into Kojima products on special teasers alone,
I would agree with that.
I mean,
But
I wouldn't say that because when Death Stranding's teaser came out, everybody was like, give me more of that. Because they were so confused by what they were seeing.
Yeah.
They
but I
wanted
feel like
more.
It gave us a lot more. This was just pictures of people like staring at a screen or staring at you
Yeah.
at the camera, and then at the very end, you saw something in the lady's eyes, and then screamed, and that was it. That's all we got out of it.
Yeah,
And
it
then
wasn't. We don't even know what we're asking for more of in that
Yeah.
context.
yeah, and then you had then they basically was like, this is more like a movie than it is a video game, but it's both. It's
Which
a
is
new
also
media.
concerning. That's also
Yeah.
concerning because for Kojima, that probably means he's really leaning into that half-hour, cutscene at the end of this game is like, oh, what if that was the whole game then?
How long was the OD teaser?
Minute 40 is what this video says.
Okay. So watching the Death Stranding teaser from 2016, yeah, there's not much there. It's a lot slower paced, but it's it's
But there was more, what is that, what is that, what is that, versus this, which
That is true.
These are people staring into a ring light in an empty room.
what is that? What is that? What is that?
Yeah.
Nothing. Boring. Don't give it to him.
Nothing. You get nothing.
Oh.
If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below on what your favorite part of the award ceremony was and trailer.
I just noticed her pupils are triangular shaped.
Oh,
That's weird.
stop staring at me.
Very weird. Yes, please make sure that you leave that down. Hit the sub button and the little bell.
Yep. We'll be back next year.
Yeah, we will be back next year. Jeez, chicken.
Yeah, we will be back next year. We usually do what's your favorite or your game of the year.
Oh yeah,
At the
well,
end.
you know what? I'm still playing mine.
Just
So it's easy to tell.
which okay, mine is easy. It was Resident Evil 4. Like that to me was my
Oh,
game of
that's
the year.
fun.
Baldur's Gate is great, but I mean, I have a personal attachment to Resident Evil 4 and Like to me, like you couldn't that right there is the pinnacle of remakes. If you're gonna remake a game, it needs to be of that caliber.
I would agree with that from what I saw you play of it.
Yeah, like
I would agree with that.
Speaking of, aren't you gonna try to stream the DLC this week?
yeah, finally bringing back the stream. I'll get to play my DLC finally. Get to play Ada.
You said yours was BG3.
Baldur's Gate, yes.
Mine is probably Dave the Diver. and I'd say that just because I haven't gotten through BG3 all the way. So,
well,
I do.
I made it pretty far, but
y'all all need to finish it so that I can discuss the ending with you. Okay.
So, but Dave the Diver was like I like the fact that Mint Rocket put a bunch of different genres together in one game. And created something that was just fun and I could pick up casually if I wanted to. Still can go back to it right now, the same game that I finished and continue to do what I was doing in it. In fact, in December 15th, they've got a little cooperation with Dredge, a level that they've put in there as well. So that's supposed to be coming out. So it's just, I enjoyed it. And I liked the story. The story was fun and funny. So.
What about you, Baka? What was your big thing this year?
What's your game of the year?
Nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for D&D style stuff, so.
I mean, I don't blame you. Baldur's Gate 3 was absolutely pinnacle.
And I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom because I've got to get that and a new controller for the Switch, so.
Joystick drift?
Oh, sometimes.
They just won't even recognize them being connected anymore.
Oh, damn, that sucks.
So you like Dave the Diver over Hogwarts?
Yes.
Damn. Okay.
I enjoyed Hogwarts. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, they can still be up there.
It's one of those where I liked the casual aspect of being able to pick it up, play, and it was entertaining too.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy Hogwarts. Yes.
Hogwarts. Congratulations, you just made a new meme. Welcome to Pogwarts.
Hogwarts.
Where they play with Pogs.
Okay, look. People listening to this might not be old enough to even know what that is, okay?
Google Pogs. You'll totally understand what we're talking about.
Or you won't, because it was very confusing as to what they were to start with, so.
They're collectible things, right?
That you're having to research.
Yeah, I was like, I remember these things. Yeah, that game was so. The game was so dumb.
Yeah, I didn't like the whole aspect of like, yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna keep all the ones that I won, and they're mine now, and it's like,
but they're mine.
I bought it because I liked the picture of it. It's mine.
Oh my god.
Mine. You cannot have it.
I'm getting out of here. It's like 4:30ish for us.
Well, all I have to say for this year in video games, it has probably been the best year in video games in the last,
massive.
I don't know, 15 years. Easily. Yeah. Like, I mean, I think the last great year of games was 2007. Like, pinnacle of games. And yes, that is when Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, Halo came out, Gears of War 2 or 3 came out. Like, back in 2007 was a year of hits.
7 would have been what, Halo 2 or Halo 3?
Yeah, Halo 3.
Yep.
Halo 3.
Oh,
like,
you hurt me in the old.
Yeah, and that's
still one of the best games of all time. Halo 3.
Like, hands down. Like, the wrap up to that trilogy was just holy shit. Just that good. So, yes, it definitely stands the test of time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of games. I mean, even outlying games you know that people weren't sure about or didn't know about at first, like Lies of P, things like that. Like nobody expected Dredge, Dave the Diver, stuff like that to be part of the conversation with these big AAA games that were coming out.
I didn't expect Baldur's Gate to be huge like that. Like, I was like, yeah, I want it. I know Baka had played it in early access and I'd had my eye on it, but I hadn't really like deep dove into any of it. I didn't play it while it was in early access, so I had no idea what I was looking at. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll get it, but we've got all this other stuff that we've got to do right now, and like financially it's been a tight year for money and things. And then it came out and everybody was talking about it. Chicken's like, I'm gonna get us a copy to play together. We'll get 2 copies. And so we got 2 copies, loaded up a co-op session with each other. Then we were like, this seems like it'd be more fun solo. So let's play our solo games, and we'll come back to this. And we have never gone back to the co-op.
Yeah, I definitely like looking through the 2007 list of games. This year is probably the best year for games since 2007. I mean, you got Elder Scrolls Oblivion in there, you got BioShock in there, Rock Band, like you got Mass Effect, Call of Duty 4, Halo 3. Like I am talking some of the biggest games in history. 2007. So 2023 gets to go down in history with the year 2007 for greatest years in video game history.
Oh yeah,
my opinion.
Well, I mean, maybe hopefully it doesn't take 15 years to get to the next one.
16 years.
16 years, whatever.
Math's hard. Nobody pays me to be here to talk about numbers, okay?
But yeah. So, like, Super Mario Galaxy 2, by the way. Another fucking top tier game. But yeah, anyway. So yes, 2023 has been the greatest year, one of the greatest years in video games. Long overdue.
Yeah.
Especially after year of sadness.
Yep.
Let's see what happens next year.
We earned it.
Yeah. I don't expect next year to be anywhere near this tier.
No, probably won't be, but
we'll be playing all of these games throughout the next several years.
I don't know. You're going to get a lot of games in the first quarter of 2024, though, because of the delays and stuff that they had.
But we'll
so we'll get 2024 is probably going to be a good year. It's just not going to hit 2023.
I think next year is going to be mostly a reset year because we'll get the new Nintendo console, and if not next year, next winter it'll be the right after that. So it'll be a reset year.
Oh yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody that hangs out with us. It was, fun 2023 when it came to games. I enjoyed it anyway. I don't know about y'all. Make sure that you do hit that sub button along with the little bell at the bottom. Go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313 where he's going to start playing through the DLC for Resident Evil 4, which should be fun. Also, make sure that you go to either Kick or to Twitch. Go to MDB Oak Tree on there as well. Usually, mainly Sundays right now, just Valheim, because Valheim, why not? More and more Valheim. But yeah, Revan Respawn. I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Bugger.
See you next year.
Bye.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.